Hello, and this is the Gifted Spindent, a game for spiritual development. Its concept and design is based on the next generation to be able to explore their spirituality without being in the confines of traditional religion. The way the game is played is on a pendant that spins, so we call it the spindent, and it has four sides with four different symbols on it, and you would spin it until it stops on one of the sides. If you spin it to the right and you stop it, then whatever is on the right side is your answer. You spin it to the left and you stop it, whatever sign is on the left is your answer. So it starts with the lower and the top. You think low vibes, high vibes. That's incorrect. These are frequencies. And so you have the lower frequency that everybody could use and the top frequency, or a higher frequency, if you will. And just like real life, when frequency go higher up in frequency, not everybody could hear it. Just like with this, when you use the top one, not everybody can use the top one. The lower frequency is based off the world we live in, because we live in the lower frequency. Anyone and everyone could use the lower frequency. So even if they don't believe in religion or spirituality, they can still, you don't have to believe in spirituality to have to pay money for stuff. And you don't have to believe in spirituality to have to pay taxes. So it keeps it simple. And so anyone can use it. Now, when it comes to the higher frequency on the top part, it's a higher frequency because not everybody could use the higher frequency. Just like a real frequency, when it gets higher in pitch, not everybody's able to hear it. So not everybody's able to use the top part right away. But if you want to try to use the top part, of course you can. But if not, you could be more than welcome to use the bottom for as long as you need to. As far as the symbols go, this symbol represents money, power, and fortune. This symbol represents taxes. This one, prayer hands, and this one's WWJD, what would Jesus do? So when it comes to this side, yes, it's a $100 bill, but more importantly, it's representing there is Benjamin Franklin. The concept of this side doesn't change. This side still represents money, power, and fortune, because Benjamin Franklin did have money, power, and fortune. But he was also a philosopher. And one of his philosophies was, in regards to the Constitution, that he said, I don't know about all that, but I know in life, only two things are certain: death and taxes. And so right across from him, you get the tax symbol. The example I like to use for the bottom part is, say you're at the grocery store and you want to buy a lottery ticket. Do you buy the lottery ticket or not? So what you do is you'll spin the spindent. If it lands on the $100 bill of Benjamin Franklin, it's like, all right, chances are I might win. So you go in and get the ticket. You spin it and you get the taxes sign. Chances are you're going to lose money off of it, so you don't do it. And the way it is played is just like a magic 8-ball, to where you ask it a question, it gives you an answer. It's a game. You can listen to it or not, but that's totally up to you, of course. And then, so when it comes to the top part, the higher frequency. The higher frequency, not everybody can use, because the higher frequency takes work. Not everybody wants to put in the work, in which case, stick to the bottom frequency. But with the top frequency, prayer hands and WWJD. WWJD is what would Jesus do. But it doesn't say what would the church do. It doesn't say what would your pastor do, even though, of course, you're more than welcome to ask him. It's what would Jesus do. And you have to keep in mind that Buddha wasn't a Buddhist, Muhammad wasn't a Muslim, and Christ wasn't a Christian. He was a man that came to teach peace and love, and he came for the spiritual healing that we need today. So the example I choose for the top part is like a bum asking for money at the street corner. It's like, do I give him the money or not? You spin the spindent, it stops on the prayer hands. And you go, you know what? I kind of need my money right now, but I'm going to pray for him in his situation. And then the WWJD, you get that one. It's like, okay, chances are, Jesus would give him the money, so you give him the money. But see, up here it takes work. And what I mean by that is, okay, you get the prayer hands, you're going to pray for him. How are you going to pray for him? Are you going to say, oh, I pray that when he gets his money, he uses it for the right things? Or are you going to say, oh, I pray that he gets the money and he has a good day and his life gets better? How are you going to do the prayer? So that takes work. WWJD. You can assume, okay, what would Jesus do? Okay, he'd probably do it. And so you say you keep using the top. And every time you get WWJD, you can say, oh yeah, he'd probably do it. Okay, he'd probably do it. But how many times can you assume that he would do it? At some point, you're going to be like, wait a minute. Would he do this? He was a person that lived. He had a personality. At some point, you're going to have to check if you want to use the top part. And the other thing is, the last piece of how to play this game is, if you use the top frequency, you get an answer, you can't really go back down, because it doesn't work like that. Once you hear the higher frequency, you can't go back down to the lower frequency. It doesn't work. So if you're using the lower frequency, you can switch to the higher one. So you get an answer and it's the Benjamin Franklin one, and you're curious on what the top one would be, you could switch it, and you could do it like that. But as far as the top one, you use the top off top and you don't like the answer you ended up getting, you can't revert back down to the bottom. But you could once again, you could play the game again, you could spin it again, and then whatever the answer is down there, then you could definitely do that again, because there's do-overs until you're not alive to do over no more, right? So this is the game. It's how it's played. If you like it, if you think it'll be a great part in life, please go to my GoFundMe and donate. I appreciate your time. Thank you.